For centuries, stories were woven into tapestry, threads stitched together to tell of journeys, triumphs, love, loss, and legacy. And like those great works of old, this is a story woven across generations, the many threads that came together to create our family. Welcome to the ancestry of my dad, Jason James Brannen Zilka. We start by delving into his Zilka surname. For years, we've been told our surname is of Czech origin. Let's take a look at what it really is. I traced back from my dad's grandfather, Henry James Zilka, Henry's father, Joseph Alexander Zilka, and Joseph's father, John Zilka. Interestingly, I found that while the surname Zilka, spelled with an I, is Czech, Zilka, with a Y, is in fact Polish. John Zilka was actually born Johann Zilka in Pomorski, Poland. He emigrated with his infant son Joseph, and their name was changed to immigration in 1855. Before that, our Zilka relations are all Zilka relations, all in the same beautiful region of the Pomeranian Voivodeship, Poland. Cue the arguments. We aren't Czech at all. Let's move on to the Brannens. My dad had expressed interest in finding out more about his mother, Evelyn Dorothy Brannen, and the Irish clan she descended from. Unfortunately, the search provided scant results before the immigration of her great-grandfather, Patrick Brannen, he being the last Brannen born in Ireland. I managed to find a little, but the search was not very fruitful in the Irish databases. Then I came across something that gave me an insight as to why that was. And frankly, it's far more interesting than finding some names and locations, because our Irish ancestors were rebels. During the 17th century, the O'Brennens participated in the unsuccessful 1641 rebellion against English rule. Many clans, along with the O'Brennens, fought for the Catholic King James II during the Williamite War of the 1690s. They were known as the Jacobites. Outlander anyone? After the Jacobite defeat, the O'Brennens lost their ancestral claims and were forced onto their own lands as tenant farmers. Lack of records likely falls under the saying, history is written by the victors. Some O'Brennan clansmen turned to resistance and became famous outlaws and bandits who harassed English authorities. Long before the Jacobite Revolution, the name Brannen dates back to Brannen, son of Cerbal, who was a Viking king of Dublin. He settled the area north of Kilkenny. The Brannens were the most powerful clan in the area until the Norman invasion in the 12th century. Essentially, the Brannens slid into poverty over the course of 5 centuries. Scattered and poor, most Brannens decided to try their luck in America, with our direct ancestor Patrick Brannen landing in Pennsylvania 1855. It's unclear when he met his wife, Sarah Sweeney, but as they were from very different regions of Ireland, they may have met shortly after immigrating. Sarah was from Donegal, Ireland, and the Sweeneys were a powerful clan. It's possible they leaned more on her heritage once marrying, as some records show Patrick was from Donegal, but that is not the case, as he was born Patrick Brannen in County Cork, 1828. Now we're going to take a tour of the Schultz family. His grandmother on his mom's side, Teresa Evelyn Schultz. She was born in Iowa, 1884, and was the first generation born in America in her family. Her parents, and several generations before then, were all born in Westfalen, Deutschland, around the small towns of Beckum and Paderborn. Their history in this region reaches all the way back to the 1400s. And before that, we start to see some interesting facts filter in, places our ancestors were born, and some interesting titles. Take, for instance, Adolf von Nassau, König des Heiligen Römischen Reich, King of Germany, King of the Romans, born in 1255, killed in action in the Battle of Goldheim 1298, depicted here. And before him, more kings, counts, and other noteworthy figures populate Teresa's early ancestors, reaching further back into an ancient German tribe called the Sicambri, who occupied the east bank of the Rhine all the way back to 600 BC. Finally, let's take a look at his lineage through his grandmother, Mabel Jones. For anyone who knows, it's through Mabel's line that this genealogy research began, as her grandmother, Christiana Barrow, as well as Mabel's grandfather, Louis Barrow, were born in Canada. This opened the door for the possibility of Canadian citizenship with proper documentation, but it also opened my eyes to how much family history I could find. While the Barrows are of French descent and traceable into France, We're instead going to look at Mabel's grandfather, who was married to Christiana, Josephus Jones. Right away, we see some fantastic names in our family, such as Ebenezer Jones and Ichabod King, who were born in British colonial America. Then we see our ancestors, namely the Dingleys, who were born in England. The first noble title that we encounter is Sir Henry Dingley, born in 1524. We meet John of Gaunt, Duke of Lancaster, born in 1340. In 1312, at Windsor Castle, the most recent king in our ancestry was born, King Edward III. The further back we go, the more kings we find, and even some Scottish and Irish royalty. This line of succession holds strong generation after generation, traceable back so far that we reach Druidic times and beyond, into the late Bronze Age of 2000 BC, until we reach Scythian ancestors. The Scythians were a nomadic horse people, which is how our ancestors eventually ended up in the British Isles, though they began their journey from Egypt. Meet our earliest known ancestor, Pharaoh Senkerus Hyksos, born in 2525 BC. I'd like to give a huge thank you to FamilySearch.org and Ancestry.com for the wealth of information I've been able to find. Because of these resources, I've been able to restitch the tapestry of lives that wove together to form the history and heritage of my dad, the King of the Strings, Jason James Brannen Zilka, Esquire.